Well, boys, that's another VA gone. If you missed the news, Sega just recently announced that Roger Craig Smith will no longer be voicing Sonic the Hedgehog. Of course, Smith came on and mentioned it himself, letting everyone know that he's had a good run voicing Sonic, but he'll no longer be the voice for Sonic moving forward. And this trend Sega has of replacing the English voice of Sonic uh, every decade or so, or 5, 10 years or so, it's starting to rub me the wrong way, especially in a consistency from a consistency standpoint. Um, because it just further divides the fan base even more than it already is. You have people who say, well, I think the most common consensus is people liked Ryan Drummond the best as Sonic's English voice. Um, while people warmed up to Jason Griffith's voice, and a large part of the Sonic fan base didn't like Roger Craig Smith's voice when he first started doing the voice for Sonic in Colors, I think, or Free Riders, I think is the first game he started voicing Sonic for. But generally, people don't accept the new voice actor when they first show up. Um, but they tend to warm up to the new voice actor as they get more games under their belt and as they get, more familiar with the character. Um, so I just kind of wanted to talk about the voice actors in general for a few minutes, and you know my opinions on Roger Craig Smith's performance as Sonic, and just my thoughts on his performance as a whole and on him leaving. So first off, I think he was a good voice actor for Sonic. Um, I know a lot of people don't think his voice fits for Sonic, but I think his voice works for a mature Sonic. The problem is that the era that he voiced Sonic in, we didn't get any games that featured mature storylines or that took themselves seriously enough for the writing to be good enough to bring out his talents and potential as Sonic's voice actor. Basically, and I'm not saying that the Adventure series is, you know, fucking Shakespeare or anything like that, but the storyline in Adventure, as flawed as it is, especially Adventure 2, um, it takes itself seriously. The writing is actually, you know, pretty decent in terms of the lines that the characters get to work with. So, if you would have put Roger Craig Smith's voice in the Adventure games, I think his voice would have worked so much better in the Adventure series as opposed to um, Colors, Forces. I think he did fine in Generations. Generations writing is good for the most part, mostly because there's so little writing in it that it's hard for them to fuck up dialogue if there's very little dialogue in there. But, Force's tone is just not where it needs to be, so the delivery of the lines aren't where they need to be. It's still kind of jokey and not taking itself too seriously, even though the situation calls for Sonic to take this situation seriously. Take Heroes, for instance. Roger Craig Smith's voice would have worked great in Heroes, too. Don't get me wrong. I think I think Ryan Drummond's voice works excellently in Heroes and in Adventure 2. I think he's getting his feet wet in Adventure. The voice acting is not bad at all, but he doesn't hit his stride until Adventure 2 and Heroes. But take Roger Craig Smith's voice and get him to do the lines from Heroes for Sonic, and it would fit just fine. I think he'd do an excellent job. So I think it's kind of sad that we lost him as a VA before he had a chance to really get a script that could let him live up to his full potential as a voice actor. I think the best you're probably gonna get is the Boom series of TV shows, or the TV series, sorry. Not the video games. The video games are kind of bad. Even if the writing for the characters, like their lines, are pretty good in the video game. The game itself is just so bad that there's really no point, so don't bother. But the TV show is pretty good. They give him decent lines to work with in the TV show. He really kind of brings that version of Sonic to life. Like, it kind of, it saddens me as well that Sonic Boom did not perform as well as Sega, wanted it to, or anyone really wanted it to. Like, I get it. It's new. The designs, some people hate, in this, that, and the third, in that it's a separate universe and it's not, a regular Sonic the Hedgehog cartoon. It's supposed to be a jokey cartoon for kids and all that. But that series was letting the writers take Sonic in a separate direction, kind of akin to how the comic books are allowed to take Sonic in different directions than his, traditional portrayal, or at least they used to. So getting to see a more, laid back Sonic, a Sonic that's more, I'm not gonna say jaded, but he's kind of an asshole, and he's kind of like selfish, and even in some cases a little lazy. It's cool. Like, it's cool to see that version of Sonic portrayed, or like just a different view into how to write a character like Sonic. And I think Boom gave us something like that. As well as like seeing the different dynamics between the characters. Like, Knuckles not being the guardian of the Master Emerald. Like, people like Knuckles, but his lore, the lore behind his character kind of makes it hard for Sega to use him throughout the series, or for Sonic Team, sorry, to use him throughout the series without breaking his continuity. Like, take Sonic Heroes, for instance. I love Sonic Heroes, one of my favorite Sonic games of all time. I know it has its problems, but why is Knuckles even in Team Sonic? Shouldn't he be off guarding the Master Emerald? Instead, he's chilling in the backseat of the tornado with Tails when Tails drops off the letter to let Sonic know that Eggman's trying to conquer the world. Now, some people might say Knuckles has realized that, this is a more dangerous mission that could be threatening all of the world, so if he doesn't help, the world might get destroyed or conquered anyway, and Eggman will be coming for the Master Emerald regardless. But the game never states that as Knuckles' motive. It just kind of ignores the fact that Knuckles should be guarding the Master Emerald. And yeah, that sticks out, and that could bother you if you're a stickler for the Sonic lore, but I enjoy seeing Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles interact and talk to each other and hang out so much that I just kind of don't care that Knuckles isn't guarding the Master Emerald right now. Hell, if you're taking Adventure 2 logic into consideration, it could very well be that Knuckles has the Master Emerald with him. It's just like shrank down, like he normally does. And yeah, that would mean Angel Island has fallen into the sea, but semantics, doesn't matter. Anyway, let's get back on point. So the point is that Roger Craig Smith very easily could have gone on to be one of our better Sonic voice actors if he was just given better scripts to work with. And I think Boom is a good example of how, when given good lines, he shines through as Sonic, um, and can very easily be Sonic's voice actor. So, with Roger Craig Smith leaving, what does that mean for the voice of Sonic? Well, given the fact that the Sonic the Hedgehog movie that came out in 2020 did as well as it did, I mean, you know, it's the highest grossing video game movie ever made, but it's nowhere near like the highest grossing movie ever made. But it was still pretty successful from what I understand, and we are getting a sequel to that movie, or at least we're planning on getting a sequel to that movie. I honestly would not be surprised if, forgive me for not knowing his name off, Ben Schwartz, the voice from Sonic from the movie, became the new voice actor. Now, would I be happy about this? Not really. I mean, I think Ben's voice works great for the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, because the Sonic in that movie is he acts like he's much younger than the Sonic that's in the video games. And actually, if you ask me, the current video game Sonic isn't really all that different than the movie Sonic. Like, he's just not flossing or wearing a sombrero. But his attitude towards the situations he's in is pretty similar to the movie Sonic. But anyway, I wouldn't be surprised if Sega came out and said that Ben would be the new video game voice as well, because they did something similar when Sonic X came out, and they made the English voice from Sonic X, being Jason Griffith, made him the new video game voice actor, and let Ryan Drummond go. Mind you, they let him go in a pretty not great way, but you know, they wanted to flatten out their media, make it concise across the board, so that if you're watching the Sonic movie and then you want to go and pick up the Sonic the Hedgehog video game, or sorry, if you're watching Sonic X and then you want to pick up the newest Sonic game, you're not confused because Sonic's voice sounds different all of a sudden. So it's understandable that that's the route they want to take, especially since a lot of kids and a lot of, you know, maybe even people who have never heard of Sonic before, very doubtful, but people who have never like played a modern Sonic game or whatnot have maybe went to go see that movie and have been reintroduced or introduced to Sonic for the first time, and might be interested in playing some of his games. When a new Sonic game gets announced, and they go to pick up that new game and they see, oh, he has a completely different voice actor, yeah, that might throw you off a little bit, but as long as the game's good, who fucking cares? But apparently, businesses care, Sega cares, because they did it before with the Sonic X cast, so they're probably going to do it again with the movie cast. Now, does that mean everyone's voice is going to change? I doubt it. I think Robotnik's current English voice in the video games is so good that I don't really see them changing it. Also, the fact that Jim Carrey as Robotnik from the film, I imagine Jim Carrey is much more expensive to get as a voice actor compared to Mike Pollock for Robotnik in the English cast. So I don't really see them replacing Robotnik or really anyone else from the main cast other than Sonic. So like, there's my take on that. Again, I don't think Ben is a bad voice actor for Sonic. I think he does just fine um, as Sonic's movie voice. And if anything, I'd like to see him continue to be the voice for Sonic in the movies. And if you want to do a TV show spin-off of the movie, like based on the movie, yeah, I think he should be the voice for that too. But I don't see anything wrong with keeping the continuities separate because that's what they are. They're separate continuities. Therefore, having different voice actors is fine. Um, it's not like the games are based on the movies. It's the movies that are based on the games. So having a TV series and a movie series with a completely different Sonic universe and lore and backstory, as well as a different voice cast, works just fine and isn't a problem. Um, Now, it could just be that uh, Roger Craig Smith's uh, contract is just expired, and Sega just decided not to renew it. Um, I don't know. Really, the Ben Schwartz theory is the only one that I think holds solid water. I think the only other um, explanation that could work is that Sega is planning on doing Adventure remakes, Adventure 1 and 2 remakes this year, and potentially down the line we might be getting an Adventure 3 game. If this is true and this is the case, it could be that Sega is thinking about like soft rebooting the series, meaning bringing in a new voice actor for Sonic for these remakes to usher in like a new age of Sonic, or they could be reaching out to Ryan Drummond to see if he wants to come back and do the voices for the Adventure remakes and potentially an Adventure 3. That is possible because Sega does know that people really like Ryan Drummond's voice. But considering the way they let Ryan go, at least from what he tells us, I don't know if Ryan would even be willing to work with Sega again in that regard. And I don't know if Sega would even be willing to go back and rekindle that relationship. So, it's entirely possible that there's just a completely new voice coming for Sonic. Um, and it's entirely possible that Ben is just going to be the new voice for Sonic. And as disappointed as I would be, I'd still try to welcome Ben's new voice wholeheartedly. I think the issue has never been Sonic's voice actor. The issue has always been the writing. Because, again, I think Ben's voice can work for Sonic, and we have not seen Ben's voice in a serious role for Sonic. So, how would he fare in Adventure 2? I don't know. I would have to see his performance. I think he could either do really good or really badly. So it just all kind of depends.